Okay, time for my Q&A. So everybody is down for a nap. Well, yeah, the girls will definitely fall asleep. They're tired. But I'm gonna answer your guys' questions. And I got so many questions on homeschool. So I figured I'd do a whole separate video. It'll just be Q&A on homeschool topics. So today's gonna be like all miscellaneous things. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, one question was, I don't know why, it just kind of struck me as like very relevant. And the question was, do you feel content with your life right now? And a lot of these topics, I just want to just like talk to you guys. It's not gonna be a quick rapid fire question. We're gonna really like go into it. So I feel like these last couple months have been so huge for me. There's been so many changes. So many things have just, oh, one of the girls went to the bathroom, have shifted in our lives. And I feel like a lot of it started actually with when I did my gut reset. So I was feeling, you know, bloated. my stomach was always hurting. I was feeling kind of anxious. And I remember in a video saying, I feel like I just can't take a breath. Like I felt like, you know, that feeling. So I did my gut reset for a whole month. It was so hard, but it really transformed me from the inside out. Yes, diet was huge with it. It was a huge mindset shift, and it made me realize I was eating a lot of processed food. I've cut a lot of the dairy that I used to eat out. I make a lot more things now. I'm making my own almond milk. I'm making my own bars. And I'm just really trying to cook a lot more of our meals rather than use frozen food. It also showed me that I eat a lot of sugar, and I'm working on cutting that out because I did see my skin start to break out a little bit these last few weeks, and I'm definitely sure it was from sugar. So I'm trying to cut out the sugar as well. So yeah, as far as diet goes, it just helped me kind of clean up what I'm eating and just more aware of things and more aware of what is affecting how I feel. The other thing that I discovered through doing the gut reset, which I wasn't expecting, and some of you guys did tell me that. You told me a lot of gut issues are from stress. And I was like, oh no, it's all diet. But a ton I realized was from stress. And I didn't realize how stressed I was because it was just like low level stress, just everyday life that was bringing on stress to me. Just as a mom of 3 kids and running a business and doing all these things gives you this dull level of stress all the time. I kind of realized this because, you know, the gut reset was big on cooking your meals and getting your body prepped to digest your food. If you're eating on the go, eating quick, your body is not ready to digest. So it's gonna hurt when you're trying to digest your foods, and also you're not gonna absorb as much as you would typically. So you could be eating a great meal full of tons of nutrients, but I was not absorbing all those nutrients. And I found that through my stool test that I did. So it really just made me slow down, take a breath. Like now when the kids go down for a nap for quiet time, a lot of the time I will go outside for a few minutes without my phone and just be outside, soak in some vitamin D and be disconnected from social media. And I've also, you guys have noticed, I've cut back a lot on social media. And we're just in a new stage of life right now. I think before I was just so like trying so hard to pump out so much content, and I was doing 3 videos a week, and I was just like trying to just grind, and it was just burning me out. And it was affecting how I was as a mom, how I was as a wife. I was just stressed. So I think that whole gut thing really helped me in a lot of ways that I wasn't expecting, which is really cool. Also during that, we had found a new church. I joined a women's group at church, and that has just been so incredible. I've met a lot of people and just focused a lot of my energy and perspective into my faith rather than into the daily hustle of everyday life. And whenever I find myself getting back to that spot, I realize like, okay, I'm not doing my devotional consistently, or it's something around that. And then the homeschool thing happened, and Andrew and I had been talking about it for some time, and it kind of came to a point where we had to make a decision, and we ended up pulling them out of school sooner than we thought. And so that was just a huge schedule change for us, right? Because before, I mean, my whole life as a mom, it was me at home with all the kids. And then this past year was when we hired a nanny, and we had her for a whole year. She would come Monday through Wednesday in the mornings, like until they went down for a nap. And that was why I was able to post more videos, and I would just be in the office getting a ton of work done. And it was great. She came at a point in my life where I remember when I hired her, I was like, I'm tired of just surviving and I want to start thriving, as I told her. And she really helped us like get on track, and she brought a little calm into our life, and it just felt like the chaos kind of turned down for a little bit and things felt like a little more in order. I want to say this to you guys because I am the person that I hate to ask for help. I want to do it all on my own. I think I can do it the best, and I don't want to look weak. So I put off asking for help for a sitter for so long until Andrew was like, I think we need to try this. And it was the best decision ever. It helped us out in so many ways. And it was just at a time when it was like really, really needed for me. And it allowed me to breathe. And it was amazing. So she, this past summer, got a new job, and I was so sad, so distraught. And we had the summer off with just nobody, you know. And then we hired a nanny a few months later for, I think she was only with us for like 1 or 2 weeks, and I felt so bad. But it was right before we decided to homeschool our girls. And I didn't plan on doing it that soon, so I was thinking we'd have her for a few months or whatever. And I knew in my gut that I didn't need help anymore. It was like, it's my turn to like take over and cut back on working and be with the kids 24/7, you know? And so I just felt like it was so clear to me. Like I knew it was a sign from God. He was trying to tell me like, this is your new path in life. Like to be at home, teaching your kids, being their teacher, and work could, you know, it's not like I have to like quit doing anything on social media, but it's not my number one right now. So it's just been a lot of changes, and I just feel the most content that I have in a really long time. That's why this question, when I saw it, I was like, like an interesting question to ask, but very ironic, because I have literally been telling Andrew, like, I feel the most at peace that I felt in so long, and everything just feels like it's all falling in place. And I literally had a conversation with Adrian, my best friend, like a couple months ago, saying, I'm just not sure like where things are going to go. And you know, people always say like, what is your end goal for YouTube? Everybody always asks me that. I'm always thinking to myself, I just like how it's going right now. I enjoy what I'm doing. I don't have this huge plan or product that I want to develop or anything like that. And I mean, ideally, my goal is to be more with the kids. So I think that question always kind of, it was hard for me to respond. So now that we're homeschooling, it's like, this is my new path. And this is just our new life. And it's just been really, really great. And I'm just very excited about homeschooling and being home with the kids. And we've just been doing so many awesome things. I'm gonna talk about it more in my homeschool Q&A, but I have so much to say about the topic. So that was a lot for one question. Okay, the next question is, do you find being a stay-at-home mom hard? And this is a tricky one because everybody has just so many different circumstances depending on how many kids you have, your personalities of your kids, if you work, if you don't work, where you live, what your spouse does. Like there's so many factors that go into it. But I think that just being a mom is such a universal thing. Like, yes, there's so many things that can affect your situation, But at the end of the day, we are all moms and we're all essentially trying to just do the best we can for our kids, right? And it can be hard and it can be lonely. I think it's just not really talked about much how motherhood can be very isolating, especially in the early years. And I felt very isolated after we had the girls, because I felt too overwhelmed to ever hang out with other moms. It seemed like too much work, and I would always I would get invited to things by other moms and I would just say no, like the thought of taking them somewhere just stressed me out so much. But now I have 3 kids and I say yes to way more, and it is possible. You just have to go out of your comfort zone to do these things. I gotta change my battery really quick. Being a stay-at-home mom is super hard. There are moments where you're just like, you know, you're going crazy, the kids are going nuts, everybody's fighting, the house is a mess, and yes, it can be exhausting. I think though, when you do find yourself in a space like that, you really need to refocus and reframe everything. And I kind of fell into that when the girls were little. I was like, oh, all I do is clean and all this and this, woe's me. But all I've wanted in my life is to be a mom. And when I was, you know, a new mom of twins, like how awesome. I was given 2 babies right away, and like what a gift. And I think you need to just realize that there are so many stages of motherhood. There's going to be some that are so hard and you just want to sit in a closet and eat a cupcake, and that is fine. But also there are going to be days that are just so lovely and you're going to be laughing all the time with them and are just so fun and so rewarding. So I think to know that there's going to be both, you just have to know that it's not all going to be doom and gloom. You know, it's okay if the house is messy, and it's just a mindset thing. And also realize that all moms feel the same way. All moms are tired, but also look at these little precious children that you have, and they are not going to be little and cute and sweet forever. They're going to be teenagers one day. And I look back on videos of the girls, I'm like, oh my gosh, they were just so sweet and tiny, and I never realized it at the time because you're in it, right? You're just in it. And I think with Owen, I have been able to slow down so much more and just enjoy him being little and sweet and cute. And yes, he is going to throw fits and do all the things that little toddlers do. But I know that this stage goes by so freaking fast, and I just want to cherish it as much as I possibly can. What I would say though, if you are just struggling and if you feel like you're just surviving, try to reach out to other moms that you know, because I'm sure that they are craving some adult interaction as well. But it's so hard. I know I'm an introvert, and it was so really hard for me to reach out to people all the time, because I don't know, it just was. But lately I just have kind of gotten past that, and I know how important it is to hang out with other moms, just to talk about what you guys are going through and let your kids play together. That I've become less introverted, honestly, over these past, maybe this past year or so. And even as we started homeschooling the girls, I just feel like we've been so much more social now than we ever have been before. And you have to take the initiative though. You have to text your friends and say, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? I found that it's harder to make a long-term plan with moms, Andrew's got home, than it is to just say, hey, are you free today, or are you free tomorrow? Hi. Hi. I don't know why, maybe because you're just busy, and sometimes you just have a lot of downtime all of a sudden. You're like, oh, this would be a good time to go to the park. So if I just will text one of my friends hey, are you gonna be free after nap time? It just tends to happen more often that way. Also understand that with a lot of my friends will try to make plans to hang out and go to the park, and it'll take 4 times of planning something until we actually follow through and hang out, because things happen. Kids get sick, and maybe one's taking an extra long nap or whatever it is. But don't stop, just keep trying. It's so funny. One of my friends, she's very extroverted, and when we first met, I had told her FYI, I'm more of an introvert, it's gonna be hard. Like, I'm not gonna reach out as much. And she's like, okay, I'm glad I know that right off the bat. So now she'll like text me all the time and it's great. So I would just say, reach out. Just don't worry. Like it'll feel weird, but it'll be totally worth it. Also, something that kind of was different for Andrew and myself was we were the first ones out of our friends to have kids. So it was hard because we had newborn twins and we just were in a completely different stage than all of our friends were, and we had to say no to a lot of things, or would have to leave early from events, or just go for an hour because of nap time, you know. So it felt like nobody really gets it, and that was kind of hard for me and Andrew. And so we've, over the years, you know, have found friends that have kids that are our kids' age, like the girls' age. And you'll even find too, like friends that have newborns. It's going to be different for them than it is for if you have kids that are like the girl's age, almost 5, because it's just all these different stages that they go through. And I would just recommend trying to find mom friends that have kids that are your kids' ages, and it's really beneficial, and you can just, you know, like align on a lot of things. Okay, somebody said, who do you connect with more, June or Violet? So I've said before how, you know, you're not going to parent all of your kids the same way because they all have different personalities and different ways that they respond to discipline, different love languages, like so much goes into that. So the way I do things with Violet is different than I do things with June because they are very different. Yes, they have the same DNA, but they are extremely different. And June, like her love language is words of affirmation. She will do things all around the house. She'll clean up, and I know that when I acknowledge all these things that she does, she gets so happy. And Violet, on the other hand, is very, like, physical touch is one of her love languages. She will cuddle up with me all the time, and is just different in that, like, she's always holding my hand. So I have to just be aware of that and not treat them exactly the same. But something that's interesting is, you know, like say I'm laying on the couch, Violet will just come up to me and cuddle me. And so she always is like near me, I feel like, where June is more like me, and I'm not a cuddler. I'll just lay by myself somewhere. And so that's how June is. So I have to be aware of that and go up to her more and like sit by June more. And whenever I do, she gets so happy. She's always like, Mom, but it's just not in her nature to like come up and cuddle me, you know? I wouldn't say I connect more with one or the other. It's just, again, different types of relationships. You know, I feel like when I talk to Violet, she's such an old soul. It's like I'm talking to like a teenager. When I talk to June, I'm talking to the 4-year-old. You know what I mean? Like June reminds me of myself as a child. I was just kind of like her as a kid, but Violet reminds me of myself currently. I'm curious how it'll be as they get older, and I worry about Violet because she can have a little attitude, and I wonder what she'll be like when she's a teenager, if she'll kind of like distance herself at times. I hope she doesn't, but I see that more happening with her, whereas June is more of a pleaser and always wants me to be happy and like doing things for me. So I can see it being easier with June along the way. But I mean, we'll see. It's so funny. I always like analyze them about everything, and Andrew's like, you do realize they're 4 years old. I'm like, yes, but I know what's gonna happen when they are 12. Okay, the next question I thought was funny. How do you get along so well with your in-laws? So, I mean, I grew up with Andrew, right? Like we met when I was probably 14. We started dating when I was 15. No, we probably met when I was I 13? I don't know. We went to the same junior high, and we started dating when I was a sophomore, he was a junior. So I've known Andrew's parents for practically my whole life. It's kind of like they were my second set of parents in a way, and they've just been with me through so many things, so many times of life, college and high school, and just kind of been there forever, right? I'm super lucky though, because we just have so much in common. We have the same, I mean, also because Andrew's like his parents, so we all just have the same morals and values in life. We all have the same religious views, which helps a lot because I know that could be super tricky if you don't with your in-laws. And just like fundamental things that we find important, we agree on and align with that. So that helps a ton. But also they're just so easy to talk to. We could just sit in our living room and talk, or when we go to the river, we just talk for so long. And we'll just play games. They're just fun, easy to be around, nice, genuine people. So I've been lucky and fortunate in that. But I know that not everybody has a situation and doesn't get along with their in-laws. So to that, I would say, find something that you do, like have something to relate with them on, and go with that. I just think it'd be so miserable to have to go to like family functions all the time when you don't get along, and that just makes everybody uncomfortable. And also think about how, you know, your husband, he's their son, and so they raised him to be who he is, and that is who you fell in love with. And so there's got to be something that you can find there. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy too because it's so different with boys and girls. I never felt this with the girls, but then when I had Owen, I was like, okay, I know what all these moms are talking about when they talk about their sons now. It's something that you cannot explain. And it's not like, oh, I love Owen more than I love the girls. No, it's not that. It's this weird protective thing you have over them. And I think, honestly, it's like, because deep down, you know, one day they're going to get married and potentially move away from you. Whereas with your daughters, sometimes you think that maybe they're going to stay closer to you. When they get married, they'll maybe, you know, I don't know what you guys know what I'm talking about. I think that's what it kind of comes down to. But for us, it just was not that situation because we live right next to Andrew's parents. We're always with them. So in saying all that, I feel like maybe when when Owen starts dating, I probably will feel like this protectiveness over him, and that's going to be hard, I think. And I think that is what a lot of moms feel about their sons. They feel super, it's like the mama bear thing, and it's hard for them to let go. And I think a lot of that stems from the mom-son relationship. But if your husband gets along with his parents fine, and it's just you that doesn't, then for the sake of him and them, I would try to get along with them, because that's not fun for anybody. If you guys both don't get along with them, that's a different story, but yeah. Okay, next, home renovation plans. So we are finishing up the homeschool room right now. It's almost done. I just need to get like a few things for the walls and just kind of decorate it, make it look cute. But our next big plan is our deck, our overhang for outside on our patio. And we have the whole plan. We're working with a company. Andrew found this great company that, does the whole thing. So we have the whole mock-up design right now, and I don't know when they're gonna start actually. I think Andrew said pretty soon, but it's gonna be super awesome. I'm so excited. So we have absolutely zero shade in our backyard. It's just all open. So we're gonna do a big overhang over like half of our house, and then half of that overhang will be walkout. So you'll be able to walk out. We're gonna have a new slider in our master bedroom that you can walk out, and we'll have little chairs and a table there for Andrew and I. We can sit up there and look at the view and drink our coffee, and it'll just be so awesome. I cannot wait. But it'll also be great to have some shade on our patio because we get so much sun just beaming in. So that is our next plan for our house. And then after that, probably we will move on to the bathrooms. Yeah, our master bathroom. It's driving me nuts. This kind of relates to the homeschool topic, but I also kind of want to talk about it in this video too. Somebody said, do you feel like you need more time to yourself now that you homeschool? And 100% yes. When we had a nanny here a couple days a week, I could leave to run my errands solo. Now I'm with them all the time. So there's no time away. So what I did is on Wednesdays, I take all three of the kids to Andrew's parents' house, and Andrew's mom watches them from like 8:30 to 4:30. So I get a huge chunk, like the whole day, to get whatever I need done. And also just time to clear my head. I think it's so crucial that you have some time even if it's just an hour or two to be without the children, just again, to clear your head for a little bit. Also something that Andrew has started doing now, which is so awesome. I never even really asked him. I don't think I did. He will come home sometimes and put all the kids in the car and he'll go take them somewhere. If I'm like, oh, I have a lot to do right now, or the kids have been going crazy, he'll be like, okay, I'll take them for an hour or so. So the other night he put them on the car and they all went to Chuck E. Cheese and they had the greatest time. But that just gives you a little bit of time to get whatever you need done, and it's just so needed. Also, I joined that moms group at our church, and that has been a great little escape and something just for myself to do. We were talking about this at the group, how for dads, like for our husbands, why is it so easy for them to just like go do something at the drop of a hat? They have no guilt in that. They just like, well, go do it. For moms, it's like, you think, oh no, I can't go. I need to stay home, or oh, it's gonna be too much work. But if I do say that to Andrew, like, hey, I need to go do something, it's never like he's like, oh no, you can't go do that. Like, he's like, okay, great. So I don't know why that is, but it just seems so much harder for me to make plans. So having my scheduled like meetups with our church is like a nice thing to have planned, and I know like I'm looking forward to that time, and it's just like a nice time to meet up with other moms and worship, and again, have that time. The adult time is so important. So that is it for this little Q&A. I'm going to do another video on homeschool Q&A, and we'll talk all about that and how that's going. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please give it a like, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye.